Hello friends, welcome to SahuStudies. In this video, we are going to discuss about DAX variable in Power BI. So, why do we use DAX variable? And what is the DAX variable? DAX variable are DAX expression which can be reused multiple times within a query and are commonly used for two key purposes. One is readability and another is performance. Let's discuss this statement. So suppose you are writing a complex DAX query. In that complex DAX query, there is a logic which is used by multiple places in that particular query. So what generally we do, we create a variable and store the output of the logic in that particular variable, and we can use that variable multiple times where it required in that particular DAX query. When we are going to use the DAX variable, it makes complex code human readable. So suppose there's a business logic. That business logic contains 100 lines of code, and that 100 lines of code which having a particular business logic is going to use 10 different places in that particular query. So 1,000 lines of code it will become, but and it will very difficult for a human beings to read 1,000 lines of code. So what variable will going to do? It will going to store the value in one particular variable. So 100 lines of code, make a variable and use that variable again and again when it required. So in this way, it is very easy for human to read the code. And one of the major advantage of using variable is the performance. If you are writing a query or a logic in the form of a query 100 times, so what DAX will going to do, it will going to evaluate 100 times. The output would be the same, but since we have written those query 100 times, so it will going to evaluate 100 times. But if we are going to store the output in a variable, then what DAX will going to do, it will going to evaluate only one time, and the value is stored in a particular variable, and those variable we can use multiple times. So variables are evaluated once, no matter how often they are used in the query. So this is very important. So we need to understand that with the help of a variable, we can also increase the performance of the DAX query. So what they can do, it streamline and simplify the DAX code. It will improve the efficiency by eliminating redundant expression. We have already discussed. It evaluates in order they are written. It only references previously written variable in the query. So it evaluates. So suppose suppose there's a multiple variables which is written in a particular DAX query. So it will going to evaluate in a order in which they are written, and it only references the previously written variable in the query. It stored either in the table or a scalar value. So it depend upon you how you are going to store that DAX variable. What they cannot do, it is not a start with the number. It is not include a space or a special character. Only underscore is allowed. It cannot be shared the name of the another table in the model. It cannot be accessed outside the query in which they are declared. It does not contains only contains keyword reserved for the DAX sum date calculate etc. This kind of keywords they cannot use in the name of the variable. Let's see how we can create a variable. So variable in the DAX query includes two components. One is the declaration of the expression and second is the return expression. So how we are declare a variable? We are declare a variable with the help of a where keyword, and we are providing the name of the variable and whatever the expression we are going to store in this variable, we are providing the expression here. And what is the return type? The return type is the result of the expression. If you have expression, we can return those expression in the form of as a part of variable. So let's discuss. This is a measure which we have written, and in the measure we have just we are creating this variable ap total order mail, and this is the logic which we have implemented to create this variable. And what we are doing, we are returning that variable. So first it is declare. This is the declaration expression, and this is the return expression. So how, what we are just putting in the return expression here, that query is evaluated and referenced any previous declared variable. So this variable we have declared, okay, and in this particular measures we are just returning one of the declared variable. In this measure there could be possible that we are declaring multiple variables, but at one time only one variable could be returned. So in this exercise, we are going to use this data model. If you want to understand the data model, then please watch video number 12 in this playlist. So what we are doing here? First, we are creating a measure. Here we are just defining an variable, and this is the expression of the variable. What we are just doing, we are just calculating the sum of total quantity sold. Out of that, we are filtering the sales or total quantity sold which is purchased by female customer only. So this is the expression which is getting stored in this variable. And what we are doing at the end, we are just returning this variable. So whatever the variable value which is present here, that variable value would be returned as a part of this measure value. So let's do this exercise in Power BI. Let me create a measure. What is the name of the measure? Name of the measure is AP retail order by female. Here we are defining a variable, and name of the variable is AP total order by female. And here we are putting an expression. So the keyword is not back, the keyword is variable, that's why it is giving error. What we are just doing here, we are just calculating some some AP retail AP retail quantity sold. This is the measure which we have already created in this exercise. Now, so here we have to close this calculate, and what we are just doing, we are closing this sum, not calculate. So let me just format it well. And here in the calculate, what we are just doing, now we are filtering this, we are filtering. How we are filtering? We are filtering based on the customer lookup table, AP retail customer lookup, and we are just looking up AP retail customer lookup gender, and the gender would be S. Okay, it is saying that it having some. Okay, now here we have to provide a return statement because we are defining a variable. So here we need to provide a return statement. First we need to just and then okay, provide return statement. What we are returning? We are returning this total female sales. So what we have done here, let's discuss. We are creating this measure. In this measure, we are creating a variable, and in this variable, we are storing our expression data. This is the expression data we are storing, and we are returning this variable only. So whatever the output of this expression would be, it will this in this expression in this expression it is getting stored in this variable, and once we are returning this variable, so the output or the value which is getting generated with the help of this measures would be the value of this variable only. Let's go to the PPT. Now here we can see that we are creating a table. Here is the transaction date. Here is the total customer sales. Out of the total customer sales, what is the total order of the female? It is represented here. So let create a table. In the table, first let's create a transaction date. Let's put the transaction date. And in the transaction date here, let's put all the customer sales first, and then the order which is placed by the female. If we just expand it, we can see here. So this is the date. In that particular date, this is the total amount of sales has done, and this is the total order which is placed by the female. Let's go to the PPT. Thank you. If you like content of my video, then please subscribe my channel, like it, comment on it, and press the bell icon to get notification whenever I add videos.